Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for ICONversations. Today, we have an amazing panel of 5 of our Canadian icons here to bring you the information. From Alberta, we have Deep Nirwan. From British Columbia, we have Laura Healy. From Alberta, we have Lyndon Summert. From Nova Scotia, we have Joanne Poulin. And from Alberta, we have Dave Cadoon. Dave, this is your chance to take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for attending. And this is definitely very special because it's all Canadian. And I'm going to start things off because there's 3 of us from Alberta and I went and changed my outfit. So I've got the blue blazer on, orange pants, white shoes because we're going to cheer for the Oilers because the Oilers are going to take Game 6 in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. I just had to get that out there. For all of you that don't watch hockey tonight. It is absolutely fantastic. Okay. Excited to see all of you here on the stage. Joanne, we've known each other for quite a while as well, and the rest of you looking forward to learning more about you and sharing your experiences with everybody we have here in the audience as well as on the recording. Lyndon, we're going to start off with you, and just so everybody knows, we are just winging this. I've got some questions for each of these fine icon agents, and we're going to see what they're doing in regards to their business, how they've been growing, and I promise you, everyone here on the stage, we're not going to trip you up with anything. Okay, so Lyndon,
we'll go orders to start with. I'm with you with the orders. It's going to be an amazing game tonight. The city's excited.
Fantastic. That's what we love to hear. Lyndon, you're a 27-year veteran of the real estate industry. You've been a realtor pounding the pavement. Also, being a broker yourself for 8 years. How have you navigated the changes in the real estate industry over these years to continue to be successful?
Well, that's a great question. 32 years in the business, and a little bit before that in some new sales. And how have I navigated through? Well, I don't know if there's new people out there. I mean, it would be nice to see how many years some of these people have been if they want to go on the chat in the business, but it's changed so much. I mean, it is just ongoing changing, and how do you change with it? Well, I was lucky enough in the beginning to meet with some really great quality people, and I'll just share my story just real quick with you. Got into the business, got out of the business a year later because I didn't know what to do. Decided to learn what to do. So I learned from top people, just like these icons that are on the stage. And they all said the same thing, learn your systems, know what you're doing. And that was a big change. So one of the things that I really focused on was my sphere of influence. When you have a strong sphere of influence, you're constantly growing your sphere of influence. It doesn't matter what happens in the market. A place like Edmonton, where we do most of the business, for many, many years, we had about 18,000 sales that happened. So again, it didn't really matter what was happening in the marketplace. There was always between 16 and 20,000 sales. So as long as you're getting a portion of that, you're going to be just fine. Doesn't matter what's happening in the marketplace. And your sphere of influence is the biggest tool you have in the business. And that's what real successful agents do, is they constantly grow that. So just starting through, just making sure that I was constantly growing that and constantly staying in contact with these people, it didn't matter. And so that was one of the biggest things that really pushed me through the market. And of course, as you grow and you get more successful, I always say whenever you're hitting 6 figures plus, it's time for an assistant. And that was a big game changer for me too. It's just really getting an assistant, making sure that I'm doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, doing things that are $100 an hour plus, not the things that are that $20, $30 an hour jobs. So that was a big game changer for me, is having those people. And of course, getting, even younger people that are understanding social media and all these sorts of things. And I guess at the end of the day, finishing off with is just not making my own decisions, but learning from other successful people. And that's truly how I have been navigating through.
Well, that's fantastic. I love how you mentioned, utilizing partners inside the industry, outside the industry, to leverage what you can do to continue to grow yourself. And we're going to touch on that here shortly in a little bit. Laura, let's jump over to you. Now, you're situated in one of Canada's most pristine areas on Vancouver Island. How have you utilized your area to attract buyers from off the island to work with you?
That's a great question. We typically have 3 or 4 main areas that we can market to. But in all honesty, I focus heavy on creating relationships with other agents. I run a business that some would joke that has a very low cost of operating. So I really focus in on relationships. So for any new agents listening on the call, I launched my real estate business for less than $10,000. And that included my open house signs. That included my errors and emissions insurance. So I really focus in on relationships. I focus in on like delivering exceptional service. And from that exceptional service, I always ask for reviews. So a lot of my business that I get, as we know, the area kind of sells itself. The key is to really listen to my clients that come, make sure I'm a good fit to work with them. And then from there, guide them on their Vancouver Island house buying journey, because many times clients come and they'll look at a specific property, but they won't know anything about the area. Or they'll call and say, I'm going to buy said house. And you're like, said house is on the side of a highway. You're probably not going to buy that, but very cool. So I really focus on creating trust and creating relationships. And the area itself is just a bonus that I'm born and raised on Vancouver Island.
It definitely helps to have that, right? With people, letting them know what they're about to experience and what they can grow in their own lives. Like, say, you've been a lifelong a resident.
Yeah, and the Vancouver Island's very different. One area might work for you, but will not work for someone else. So it's really about asking the right questions. And so over the last 5 years as a licensed realtor, I've been in the business for the industry for 11, but over the last 5 years, I've really focused in on ensuring I'm listening to what my clients are telling me. So I'm slowing down, I'm listening to them. I'm not focused on hitting the targets or the sales. I'm focused on delivering exceptional service and an exceptional experience. And because of that, I'm working with tonight. I have my 2 clients are repeat and referrals. I'm getting to help a sister and I'm getting to help a friend of a friend. So my business is really heavily focused on that.
I love it. Love to hear how success stories. And I know the audience members do as well. Joanne, for yourself, you've been a businesswoman for 30 years and you've seen all sorts of challenges. Can you share with us how you've used that to grow your real estate business so fast in Nova Scotia?
Hey, Dave and Laura, and I think Deepak and Lyndon and everybody in the audience. I guess I did come with experience. I'm an old woman, but new to real estate, only been in the industry for 3 years. And I had come from a brief advertising career, but a heavily dominated dog business. So I knew people, but I decided right away that I would invest in myself. So my first month in real estate, I laid down $11,000 into a social media campaign, a website, and a branding. So I had my logos developed for me and all that because I knew the power of marketing. And I learned from my social media persons for 6 months how to do it. And then I had an assistant immediately because I was an executive as a publisher. So I brought an assistant right into real estate with me, and I didn't regret that. And the one thing I guess I learned early, well, not early in life, but before real estate, is that if I can pay somebody who knows what they're doing to do things for me that I don't know how to do that well, I can concentrate on what I do well, and that's sell. I can sell. I know how to build relationships. And the lead generation I actually use now, I just started a team and I'm flipping all those leads to my team, and my spear is feeding myself. And I keep in touch. I'm not one to use my CRM properly, like most people probably do in this field. I'm good at making a phone call or showing up at somebody's door and saying hi. going to networking events and being invited to things. I was with our premier last night at an event I was invited to. So I just make myself out there. So even though I have a big business now, I last night I went to 3 different things. I was at Habitat for Humanity, I was at a ladies networking event, and I was at a military event with where I met the premier. And I just keep that going, and I think that's important. It doesn't matter how busy you are; you still got to continue to work on those relationships and be out there and be visible. That's what I think built my business so quickly.
And just, highlighting that from when we first met here, actually through ICONversations over a year ago, your business has exploded, and it's definitely. I myself have definitely been watching what you've been doing, and we'll highlight that here a little bit later. I've got some questions that you're going to be able to share some information with the audience. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Deep. Now, you are also a realtor. Just a couple of years in, I think about 4 years, yet you have amassed a team of over 70 agents. Now, what would you say is your key to attracting agents, not only to the brokerage, but to your team as well?
Hello, firstly, hello everyone. The team wise, I'll say I just always go work on myself to improve myself, and all the time like looking for the things am I doing right. So it's just the team direction, I can say, just my work ethics, how I'm doing the work. Like, and to be honest, I never reach to any single person. The whole team, they reach out to me. I'm so blessed for that thing. At the same time, I try to teach everyone. Like, no, I'm not a good teacher, I can say, but I'm trying to whatever my experience, I love to share. I always share my knowledge with the people and who is joining me. I teach how, because the thing is, when I joined real estate, I learned everything in a hard way. So my team vision is just someone who wanna do the real estate in proper way, so I can provide all the knowledge. So they're not quitting the real estate because of they didn't get chance to learn properly. Rest is everyone's hard work, right? So I'm just focusing on those things. And my main platform, I can say, the social media. I'm totally focused on social media. My background is from like videography and those things, so I have a strong hold on the social media. So agent is directing by watching me my videos and stuff, right? So they wanna work like me. So that's the things. So we are growing just in, and the team I have, the 70 agent, is just in 1 year, because I never have any team or anything in old brokerage, and I joined EXP last year. So within 1 year I have 70 plus, and we are growing every day, I can say.
And I've been following what you've been doing. I've been actually following it for a couple of weeks before any of this, before I knew we were actually going to be all together. So I think it was fantastic being positioned together on this panel. You highlighted one part there where you said you learn things the hard way. I can relate to that as well. But would you mind sharing with everyone here what was the hard way? What were the failures that have now created the success for you?
The hard way, I can say, when I started, because I started with zero connection. I don't know any agent, I don't know any broker or anyone. So I just joined a random brokerage. And the best part about the EXP, they like connect you. So they eventually, I don't know how the things is happening, but in EXPs there is something, they connect everyone with each other, right? The in other brokerage, gonna find those things. Even broker promise you, like, we're gonna teach you those things and here and there, but eventually you have to do yours by yourself, right? So even to fill the contract, I have to waited for a guy. I wanna fill a contract at 6 p.m. I waited for him till 11 p.m. just to fill a contract. So everything, step by step, I have to learn the thing. Even the lockbox with Supra, right? Because the brokerage, the other brokerage, they don't provide you those kind of training. They just provide you like how to fill the contract and those things, right? Those are the later thing. Like, they don't teach you how to get the connect with the clients and what kind of deals you have to take, right? So eventually you're going to fill the contract at the end. If you don't have a client, what are you going to do? So I can say even for a salesperson connection, I visit to every single showroom when I started. Now I have 15 to 20 exclusive builder in Edmonton. Like I can say probably my team have the most builder in Edmonton. No one has that many builder. Even in a single community, I have more than 3 or 4 exclusive builders.
And just listen to that. It just shows that brokerages can give us certain tools, but when it comes to it, we do rely on the collaboration with others in order to expand our knowledge and honestly expand our resources. And this puts a good transition into what I wanted to talk to Lyndon about next. So, like Lyndon, yourself, having been in the industry for decades now, and you've also worked with several different brokerages over those years, how important is maintaining your personal brand so people know who you are and they always want to work with you no matter what flag you're flying?
That's really interesting. And think about brand. When I think about myself and my brand, it's like, do I have a brand? Do I? And I guess everybody has a brand. What is the brand? A brand is something that people are attracted to, and like I said, I really focus on that sphere of influence, and probably 95% plus of my business is referral right now, and we've got a team, a small team as well, because I'm so busy I can't handle the other business that comes. And I guess the brand for me really is, like others have said, relationship. One thing that I really like to do with people is when I sit down with them, I say to them, I'm not just here for this transaction. I'm here for the long term. I'm here for your family, your friends, every single transaction, anything that has to do with real estate and beyond. I'm going to be here, and it's friendly, but it's business-like. And when you really do that, and you get in the heart a little bit, what happens is it just starts flourishing, and people just start telling people, and it goes on and on. So you really care about the situation, treat the transactions, like they're your own, and truly, that's the brand. I also like to have a lot of fun. And so making people laugh, making people smile, helping people become successful, I think that's my brand. So that's what I've done really from the beginning, and that's just about being myself, which I recommend to everybody. Who are you? And be clear on that, and I guess why you're getting up every single morning. And if you get up every single morning to enjoy yourself and help other people be successful, I think that's one of the best types of brands that you can get out there.
And you hit that right nail on the head. As a brand, you don't need to have a logo. It's totally up to you. You yourself are your brand. That was taught to me in 2019 after I'd been in the business for 4 years already. And I started to realize that. And you're right, people contact you for who you are. I have a closing that's next week that I can backtrack that to 7 transactions with 7 different people, all referred off referral. And if you can just show people who you are, they're going to relate with you, and they're going to love what you do and what you provide to them. And this is really working really well because I can
show
transition this
appreciation.
into what yeah, absolutely. Yes, the appreciation, and it goes both ways.
Yeah, oh, it really does. And that's the greatest compliment, is just happy, successful people, and that referral, of course.
Yes, yeah, because they will come back. They don't buy a house every year, but they will remember you. Mm-hmm. Laura, this works out, I think, really well with how I've kind of planned these questions. But for you, I know you stay in contact with your clients, and that's extremely important. And from learning a little bit about you from the past here, and just even through social media, I'd love to know, how are you keeping your sphere of influence engaged so they always remember you and they refer you?
Ooh, that's a great question. So I do a monthly newsletter. And in the last, 2 years, I've started to focus both in on community activities. I'm a big fan of farmers markets, and I've also started to focus in on my health journey. I'm quite into holistic health. So that led to client yoga, or stretch and connect, as we called it, because we couldn't stop talking. So yoga didn't really end up as silent, so we just did stretch and connect. A local yoga instructor gave us her studio, and we do basically we lay around and stretch. I get a great group of people out for that. And then I'm really big into client appreciations. So I do a big client appreciation every year. I don't go crazy fancy. I have gone crazy fancy. I kind of bounce back and forth between partnering and sponsoring and making the events a bit bigger. And then this year I'll be back at basically a local coffee shop that's one of my clients and mine's favorite. And we'll have her world famous cinnamon buns. I fought it for a while. I fought the whole birthday card thing for a while, but I've now done it for a year and a half, and I actually get a really raging success. So I should thank Ben Osterveld, the business coach, for that. I have an assistant who just does my birthday cards, and they're very thoughtful. Like, they're a handmade card from a client. They get placed in a gold envelope with a happy birthday chocolates made at a local store. So they cost me about $20 a card. But I get more personal texts, emails, phone calls from those birthday cards than anything else I currently do. And then I just do what I guess the previous speaker said, and I really emphasize that they're never bothering me, that I am here for anything. My sphere of influence is really strong. I remind everyone when they move to Nanaimo, it's about who you know. So I encourage them to ask me for plumbers, painters, hairdressers, and I feature local businesses on my social media as well. But I encourage them, to reach out to me, and I do my best to stay in touch with them as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I really try to support other community small businesses. But so that turns around, kind of comes 360. So yeah, or any businesses owned by clients. I love that as well. Like the previous speaker said, let's make everybody successful, and let's celebrate the journey, and let our clients know that we're not just a one-off transaction. We're ongoing. We're here to help friends, family, and even if it's not always a money-making activity. I think that's really key.
And I like how you mentioned you make these tasks fun. So they're not tasks that you feel you're obligated to do. You're enjoying them and you want to do it because clients can become friends and they see you as a friend. And that will also help keep them in touch with you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure in the beginning when you start off about, hitting these targets. And I mean, I can admit that some years my years are great and some years my years might not be the highest scoring, but that's not my why. My why is lifestyle. My why is relationship. So when I started to understand that I had to find my tribe, and that was both in my personal life and my work life, when I found my tribe and I started to stay true to doing buyer and seller interviews, I'm okay to say to a client that's not my tribe or not my right fit, hey, I really don't think I'm the right fit to work with, but I think I know an agent that is, and be okay to take that 25% referral and go on to giving exceptional service to someone who's in my tribe. And because of that, I'm happier, I'm healthier, I love what I do. And it's hard at first. I hear it from lots of new agents that I mentor. They're really focused on being seen. They're focused on, making sure they have enough money in their bank account. And all I can tell you is, if you don't have commission breath and you don't focus on it, it just keeps coming. It keeps coming. Stay positive. I think that's really key.
I love that term you mentioned, commission breath. There's an agent on my team. We just were talking about that yesterday, where there's others that are out there that all they want is the deal. They want the deal. They don't focus on the relationship. And I put through the term, make friends and serve people. And the business will come and people will respond to you and they will understand. For all you in the audience, if you have a question, drop it in the chat and I would love to bring it up to the icons that are on the stage as well. We do have a few more questions to go through, but I'd love to hear if there's something you would love to get a response back directly. Joanne, for yourself, I know marketing is huge. You talked about what you dropped when you first started with marketing. I know you've been big on the bus ads. I know you just posted that on social media just the other day, as someone shared that they were behind a bus with your billboard right on the back of it. So with social media being such a large part of your business as well, how have you utilized social media to grow your brand?
For me, I'm not the video girl. I mean, I throw a video up occasionally, and I admire all those agents that do really good social media. I'm more about celebrating, the accepted offer and all, and sold, and we're closed, and I'm giving the keys to somebody, and we succeeded it. And I think people watch me, and that's what makes my spear grow. Like, I have a big following on Facebook, but I built that all my life. I didn't just walk into real estate with nothing. I wasn't a young realtor. So I got, like, for an example, one of my people I work with in 90 to 92, who I haven't spoke with since, is on my Facebook, but we don't speak. But she made sure her son worked with me. So that told me, and I think showing your successes and that you're working hard for people, like Laura said, giving exceptional service. I go above and beyond. I've dug up a septic for somebody. Right now, I'm arranging all the tradespeople to do some work on a house while somebody's in Iceland. I do those things, and I take care of things. I got a development now with my developer. I just got it's secured this morning that not only are we doing the builds after they're built, we're doing them before they're built now. And I do that because I work my ass off for people. And I think if you're willing to do that and you show people you do that, that's why people want to work with you. I'm honest, I'm upfront. I also don't let people walk over me. So I set my lines, like those clients that want you to see 50 homes, but they never buy. I let them know my time is valuable and that I want to do what's right for them, but not wasting my time looking at things that aren't going to work for you. So getting to know your clients and being able to relay where they need to be. And I've let go of a few. I'm not afraid to fire a client if we're not working right together and they're taking advantage of my time. We're never going to do anything. So what next? Networking events. I'm part of, there's a Fall River Area Business Club. There's a Bedford area one, the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. So all those commerce ones, I do a ladies networking one. I just try to go to things like politics, local events like the Caloose. So all my local stuff, I try to sponsor it as much as I can. So fireworks, stuff like that. And I just try to be seen in my community. So those are the ways that I get out. I'm always out in front. People see me. Like Dave said, I'm on the bus. I have an office space now with a sign up there. I'm hardly in my office, but my sign is up in my local community because I'm really trying to geofarm into that. And I'm on Facebook and I'm responding to people. I'm answering questions. So I'm just all over the place. As Shane Kennedy, he owns Cooperator Brokerage in Halifax. He said, "You're everywhere." And I just try to do that. I comment on people's posts, interacting with other people, not just me out there, but interacting with their posts, answering their questions with not expecting anything in return. Tradespeople, I'm known for it. So people no longer put a post in a Facebook group. They often message me directly. Who do you know for painting or plumbing or whatever? And I freely share that, including with other agents. And I think if you just give, you get back. And that's the way I look. I don't worry about what I'm going to get in return.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. And I appreciate you sharing and jumping on that question that was in the chat. Deep, jumping back over to you. Again, I really admire what you've done with your team. Again, we're talking about a year in with EXP. Now, you yourself have a team in multiple cities, Edmonton and Calgary. Now, how do you maintain the relationship with the agents in both cities?
So I just always try to go, like, we do meeting like 3 sessions, one Zoom call every week. So where we all team connected, one in person in Edmonton and one in person in Calgary. So I can say like Calgary is just for me now is just going home, because every week I try to visit there, because if you want to expand your team, you have to be connect with the people, right? What's their problem? I always pass a message like if you anyone have needed training one on one, I try to do that, and the same time we do the bigger training session as well, and the lead session. I can connect with the Laura. The thing is, she's talking about real estate is not. That's right. It's not about all about selling. It's all about where we are use knowledge. Sometimes we don't know the things, we can pass the lead. Even I have my license in Calgary as well, but I don't do any real estate. I just pass the lead to my team, because it's always nowadays people collect their 5% very hardly, right? They save the money very hardly, so I just always make sure they are putting on the right thing. So I can say it's all about relation, even with the client or even with the realtors. Even I have a really good relation with all the other broker agent as well. I don't care. Everyone has the different vision, but we are here for to grow and to help the more families so they can find a right house. So I can say it's more networking, connecting, listen to them, what's their problem, how we can solve those things. So now I'm trying to reach in Ontario and BC, so that way like we are everywhere. And over exact and true opinion on the time right now or whatever it is, just explain the thing in right way, not not run for your commission or anything. Eventually, if you are in real estate, if you sell something, you're gonna money gonna follow you, right? That's not over a race. Over race is to help more family with the right vision, true with honesty.
Excellent, and that's good. The honesty, just ending with that was perfect. Honesty, it goes an extremely long way. Um, Lyndon, we're going to jump over to you now. Just a quick question before I get into this one. Have you been in the same market for your entire, 30 plus year career?
Yes, I would say that now I do pretty much everything. I do a little bit of commercial as well. The way I look at it is I'll do Edmonton and basically 100 miles surrounding. Again, like one of the other agents said, if I can't deal with it properly, I'm going to find somebody else that can, so that client's taken care of properly. But yes, to answer your question, I've pretty much been in the same market.
Okay, perfect. So you're locally connected, and people they know you in the community. So how have you over the years put yourself out there so people are understanding who you are actually as a person, and so they know you as such and not just Lyndon the realtor?
Yeah, well, I do a little bit of video. I just recently went into some YouTube stuff as well, but I really like getting out there. And what I find is, when we're out there and communicating with people, it's so important to communicate with influential people. And it's kind of a funny thing. And everybody, when people start the business and they want to hand their cards out and get them out everywhere and as much as possible. For me, I would rather collect cards. I use my cards to write on the back of, so I can be in control of communicating with these people. So when I find great quality people that I know they're influential people, then I really want to connect with them and just share what we can do and find out what their goals are. And so on a regular basis, both myself and the people that are on my team, attending networking events, just going out there, going to restaurants, communicating with the owners, the local businesses, and just on a regular basis, just showing up and just staying in touch with people. I do a twice monthly email to one about marketing. One about the market and what's happening with that. And then another one I send about just fun, getting out there, living life to the fullest, I call it. And just being true to my word of who I am and sharing with people. It's not just about, work and everything. It's about life. And we've got to enjoy our life as well. And I guess that's, how I'm out there regularly connecting with people and just making sure that I'm always following up with people. And email is one way that I do that as well.
Okay, and that's great. You show the people who you are as a person, and that's definitely what they're going to connect with. Laura, for yourself, you're right on the West Coast, and when you're dealing, obviously, we talked earlier about people buying and coming to the island. How have you leveraged the relationship with referrals to agents where your clients are moving elsewhere in the country? How are you, I guess, farming for those agents to make sure your clients get the best partnership that they could get?
Okay, that's a really good question. So in not every marketplace do I have the perfect referral. So I set out and I interview agents. But basically, my key focus comes to attending as many EXP events in person that I can. So I've been to both EXP Canada cons. I go to the Banff event as every year that I possibly can. I get a lot of great value out of the January Banff event. And then I try to attend any of the local trade fairs or other things that go on. But I really pay a lot of attention to workplace. And when agents are on our icon chat, they're saying, I need this. Well, then I go and befriend that agent on Instagram or Facebook, and I get to know them a bit, and I kind of see who they are. And then I just kind of keep on the side a note of agents who I think I'd like to get to know better. Because I think it's really key. We form our tribe, and there's no instant way, there's no perfect way. I'm not part of any official networking groups. We tried to form one. We did a really great event at the Canadian conference called EXP Connect about forming kind of a group for individual producing agents. I think Joanne, you ran for the boat, Joanne. I think you came with your suitcase on, if I remember correctly. So we just kind of go step by step, but really focused on finding people that are part of our tribe. And then right in the beginning, when I ask the client where they're going to go, I really fill them with confidence that I'm going to work with them to find an equivalent type of agent in that new marketplace. I take that off their task list and I say to them, I'm going to ensure that I find you another version of me in your marketplace. Someone who is service focused. Don't worry, I'll give you one or two choices. Hopefully they're available. But and if I already know someone, I offer to connect with them right off the bat. So referrals are super key. It's kind of, it's a wash in the end, what we pay in referral fees and what we get, because we tend to have, I think I read a stat that we have 40,000. There was some huge stat that it was 40% of relocation were leaving Vancouver Island currently due to the cost of living and moving to Alberta. So I definitely need to get to know the three of you from Alberta better on the call because it sounds like they're moving to be able to have a lower cost of living, because our average single family is almost 800,000 in beautiful Nanaimo. So it doesn't allow much money for fun things if they're not already financially established in the marketplace.
Yeah, and you're right. I've had 3 families already from BC. Just this year, this spring alone, moved to where I am in Lloydminster because of the cost of living. And I'm working with one other family right now as well, doing the same thing. Alberta seems to be the attractive portion for now, where people are going. So yes, referrals definitely go a long way. Joanne, you mentioned earlier, just when you were finishing up with your last answer about networking, and I wanted to touch base on this because I know you go to network events. I've seen you at networking events with EXP Con Canada. I've seen you at both the Vancouver one and the Toronto one. We engaged and chatted at the Toronto one, and also finding out that we know similar agents because we happen to be in the same sphere. How important is this to agents who are listening today in regards to going to these events to meet other agents, to engage with them, whether it be at the Canadian convention or in the US. I know you're heading down to Miami, so am I, with my family. How important is that to grow your business and learn from other agents?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I average about 8 or 9 referrals a year in EXP. And I consider myself very fortunate. And I think it's because I didn't go to the first con because I had only started the 1st of October. So in 2021, I didn't go. But in 2022, I went to Vegas. I went to the summit, the last summit we had in Orlando. I went to the first Canadian Con in Vancouver. I went to the second Canadian Con last year in Toronto. And I've been to obviously the last con in Vegas. I'm going to Miami. I'm actually joining a Tom Ferry event too in Dallas. These are all things that I think I have a relationship with you, Laura, and you, David, and a number of other agents across the country that I consider good friends now. And not only do I get referrals, I will ask an agent if they can post in their neighborhood property that I might have that's not moving as quickly as I like or something like that. But I get a lot of clients moving in from BC, Alberta, and Ontario. I would say 60% of my buyers are coming from interprovince. Atlantic Canada has become a haven because of our prices. So those relationships are big for me. That I do watch workplace like you do, Laura, and I used to be better about getting on it when I wasn't as busy. So watch your workplace referrals, but oftentimes I'll use workplace too to go in and say, okay, I don't know anybody in Waterloo. I'll type in the town and look for the people, the agents in Waterloo, and then I'll start chatting with them and getting to know them and seeing if I can give them a referral too. So it's an easy way. I mean, a friend of mine is going into Devives. Not only is our workplace good for that, but you can stay connected around the world. And I just recruited in Dubai a couple agents that I went to college with. I had no idea she was even an agent, but now they're joining the XP. So we're worldwide. You can get a referral for anybody. So if you got people moving to Portugal or England or Australia, we've got people there. So get to know them.
Excellent. I like it. And, network. We think back in the old days, networking was going to a function where it was just with the locals. And I know there's still other brokerages out there that's all they do. With us being global, we have that reach. You highlighted about using Workplace. I think that's phenomenal. For those who aren't using Workplace, please go in there, use it, join some groups. And you might not use it every day or even once or twice a week. But if it's there and you get the notifications, I get email notifications, I get notifications on my phone. And even the simplest thing, and I'll use, as an example, something will pop up there with a keyword like, hey, looking for an agent in Lloydminster, Alberta. Bang, I jump on it and I respond to them immediately because I caught it. Maybe other agents aren't seeing this, but if I can be first to the queue, that's what I want. And then we can form that relationship. Deep, for yourself, you mentioned how you're dealing with developers and new construction. How can agents in this room today work with developers, pre-construction? Those are some of the hardest partnerships to form. Would you be willing to share how you have created so many of those partnerships?
Dave, so firstly, for the new agents, I'll say firstly, you have to build a connection. When I started, I make a connection with the salesperson in the early days, right? Then I sell their product and try to reach the owner of the builder, right? Sometime we sit for the lunch. So it's all about networking step by step. When you show your production, so then you can reach them like, hey, we can sell your product, because when I started, I just try to learn every single thing about the house, like what's the baseboard, what's their size, variety, what's the countertop, what's their size, what's their types, what kind of kitchen cabinets. So in pre-construction especially, you must have all in knowledge, because sometime you see the show home that's look really different and client imagine those things. You have to have a really knowledge like what kind of spec that builder providing you. those things. Once you have knowledge, I believe it's all about the knowledge. Then you can sell yourself easily, like you to the like once you sit with a builder. I do sometimes it depend what kind of builder it is. You can email them, right? Hey, this my introduce yourself. Hey, this is me, and I do work with the in city of this, and now we are how the group part is really amazing for me because firstly I don't have that many builders. In earliest I have just two three. Now the power of team, I'm reaching to the builders. Hey, so I'm myself Deep, so I have this many team group. So eventually if you're going to work with me, you're getting a service of 70 realtors, and this is the same goes for everyone. It's not like I'm reaching to the builder. Even my teammate has some of have like four builder, two builder. So I teach to everyone the same way. Hey, go to the builder, introduce yourself, and the tell them we have that many group people. So if you're gonna work with me, eventually you're getting a service of 50 60 realtors in one click. So that's the scenario. I'm working on the things, and it's working really good for me, to be honest. I'm helping to the builders get the lots as well, so trying to reach out now developers. So there is step. Firstly, developer develop the lots, then goes to builder, then they sell the houses built by the building, right? So if you have a link of developer or builder, eventually you have a whole hold. So even the client, if sometime we are more focused on buyer side, I just more focus on selling side. At the same time, I make sure I'm taking care of the client. Even the client is with working with different realtors coming to me. So for my work ethic is I just make sure the things are happening in right way, because I for me so just one say, but on the other side there must be a dream for someone, because I do the custom houses, like all custom houses. We build from scratch. We make a plan drawing, make a drawing for their what they want exactly. Some people want the prairie room on the main floor or something like different. Now we are building a really different house, like three open area, like even the kitchen is open, family area is open. So we just working on the thing. I by myself I like to do the customization house, and that's how like to reach the builder is not that hard part. It's just the first thing, you have to believe in yourself, right? So if you win that race, like you if you win yourself, then you can do anything. I don't think so, nothing is impossible. Even impossible by itself says I am possible if you try it.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
If you believe that you can do it, you will do it. Put yourself in there, make yourself accountable, have a colleague be your accountability partner, and you can do it. I
Dave,
myself,
even the funny part, sorry to cut you.
no,
When I started real estate, I worked for city, like really benefits and everything. And people mostly start part time. I started full time. Like I quit the job, and even my family members are against me. Like there was there is benefit. Why you're taking risk? Even I don't know how much money in the real estate, like how commission things work. I don't know anything. I just know one thing: I love to dress up all the time in the suit. So I thought like this is my kind, so I just started without and knowing anything, but I just believe in myself, like I can do it. So that's how I did it.
and look at that. 1 year into EXP, 1 year later, you have a team of 70, and it's because you believe in yourself. It's just insurmountable what it will come to, even by the end of the year. So definitely, well done, well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a question for all four of you, and I guess I'll pick one person just to start off. And I know agents are always asking about leads and how we get our leads. And typically, when I host these panels, we talk about that near the beginning. But I want to save it to the end because I think almost every week we hear about the leads. But Lyndon, for the decades that you have been in, and you've seen the rise and the fall of different real estate markets, do you use a CRM? And if so, which one and why?
Oh yeah, I mean that's huge. I mean, I was thinking of about a few things to kind of help end things off, and I think everybody will notice that these icons all have common denominators. You know, organization is just a massive part of it, and it was something I was really poor at. And I took this course years ago called 0 to 200, and you know, back then 200 was a big deal to get to 200,000, and what it was is you know, we called it a CRM, but we called it a CRS, a client retention system. And basically, it was just a paper-based system. And we will do more business and take care of our people much better if we can remember things about them and remember when to contact them. And that was just a new thing to me. If you really think about it, we're on all sorts of CRMs everywhere. So yes, today still, I try to make sure I can deal with lots of people and treat them very well by knowing what their middle name is or their dog's name and that sort of thing. And the only way you can do that is through CRM. So mine, I still do it paper-based. So I write their information down. I attach a number to them in the corner. And then when I'm finished communicating with them, I write down what we talked about and what I'm going to do with them next. And so I go into my day timer, and I have both paper and on my phone, and I just note contact or do this with number such and such. And so I just go back, who's such and such. I look back, there's the information. Man, when you do that, it just totally relaxes you. You can get things off of your brain. You don't have to remember things. So absolutely have a CRM system.
I love to hear the fact that you're using a paper system. It's not something we hear very often, but you're right. You know how it works, and it works for you. And that's excellent. So it doesn't matter what you use. Laura, how about yourself? What are you using these days? And I'm going on the assumption that you are using one.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm using Follow Up Boss, and I've used Follow Up Boss for 3-4 years now. I used it when I was in administration. I was in a min for a big team, and they used it for about 2 years. I just find it's very easy to use, and I don't probably even use it to its full capacity, to be completely honest. It's constantly evolving. But yes, the use of a database and maintaining that database, even if you have an assistant help you with it, is super key. I use it for birthdays. I use it for notes, for details. I like to track where my clients come from. I like to track if they're connected to another client referral, because I do a thank you always. I think showing appreciation for that introduction and for them willing to take time out of their day to say, hey, my realtor was great, work with them. I think that's really key. And I also think that having a database makes communication so much easier. Like the export features are so key, whether that is the monthly newsletter, whether that is, a special event that's going on. So I don't tend to do constant touches with my clients. Like I don't send out something once a week, because I personally am of the perspective I like kind of a 1 or 2 time a month perspective. But yes, Follow Up Boss is amazing. And I'm not loyal to any particular brand. I think that's important to know. But right from the very beginning, if you're a brand new agent on this call, that is one thing you should be, in my opinion, 100% investing in, is a database. I closed 4 clients in the first year that I met at open houses, and their feedback was that I was the only agent that followed back up with them. And I did that because I set reminders in Follow Up Boss to remind me to text them. And that's all I did, because I didn't have an assistant for the first year that I was a solo agent in the industry.
And I like what you mentioned, you should have one. Jake Nicole in the Big Agent meeting just before this mentioned there's no right CRM, just as long as you do have one. Joanne, yourself, we're getting short on time. I'll try to get both of you in here. Yep. What do you use for CRM right now, and why?
Well, I use KV Core a bit. I'm not real good. I gotta say, so I do have a lead generation I pay for called New Age Communities, and I use that CRM. That does zap into my KV Core. But I use, like Lyndon said, I'm using a lot of different tools. I have an Excel sheet where I track my income and where those sources came from. Like Laura said, I want to know where they came from. So I know if it's my spear working or my lead generation or referrals or where all my income's coming from, so I know where it is. I also have another Excel sheet where I track every client in my sphere, and I make sure they're followed up with birthdays, anniversaries, anything special in their life. So I send out a custom card and maybe a little Tim's card or a Dairy Queen, depending on that client and what their tastes are. It's not a lot, but it keeps me remembered, and I got a lot of feedback from that as well. And I deliver gifts to some clients. I can't do all of them. I just try to keep those connections. Those are my things, my tools that I use. I don't think I'm the best at it. That's probably where I slack. But as Glenn Sanford said in Mastermind this year, embrace the messiness, and that's what I'm doing.
No, and as long as it's little bits, it definitely works. Deep, for yourself, what do you use for a CRM, and does everybody on your team use the same CRM?
To be honest, Dave, before, like I've never used too much, but now I'm just starting using KV Core, and at the back end now I have my team, like the accounting team, that's take care of, like they get all the details, their birth date, how we get connected through the lead or reference, what kind of sources, so right. So my source mostly like a reference or social media. Then I'm trying to work on the things like that's really impactful thing. If you sending the birthday card or anniversary or whatever the possession anniversary as well, I can say, like when we get the possession every year, we can send a card. That's the special thing we can. Now I'm focusing on those things to improving myself. But to be honest, at the back, I never used much CRM things because I never thought I'm gonna be that busy. But now things are different, so I'm working on the things. I'm just trying to get more knowledge about like what's the best I can use about this, so getting knowledge. But so far I'm using KV Code.
Okay, awesome. And for myself, I utilize KV Core. I used to have Follow Up Boss at one point, and then I switched to KV Core. And then last year I started using Lofty, and actually I've integrated Lofty and KV Core with one another, and they each do different portions of my business. And so far it's been working. So for you in the audience, if you're not using a CRM, please utilize KV Core. And there are agents out there that can help you walk you through how to use it. I'm doing the same thing and creating some training videos on how to use it. It is absolutely fantastic. And because it's included with your EXP fees, you might as well use it, right? Use it or lose it. Looks like we're out of time. So I wanted to thank Joanne, Lyndon, Laura, and Deep for jumping on this week and doing the all Canadian panel. And for all of you that hung around from Canada, the US, and from all over, we appreciate you tuning in and sharing. Do feel free to reach out to any one of us on social media or workplace, and we are happy to definitely help you out. So Brian, I'll leave this off to you.
Very nice job, Dave.
I want to thank you all today. This was an amazing panel. Thank you, Dave. Everyone on the panel, you were awesome. You've made this an amazing all-Canadian panel. I want to thank all of you out there in the audience for joining us today. If you are watching this on YouTube, smash that like button and join us next week for an all-UK panel. You guys have a great Friday.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Take care, everyone. Go Oilers!
Thank you, everyone.